talk, talking crime, cases, and backing the blue. Now, here are your hosts, Captain Ed Mehmet and Detective Kevin Schroeder.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Cop Talk. My name is Kevin Schroeder, your host, and my co-host, the famous Captain Ed Mehmet, is in the having some procedures done, but God willing, he'll be back with us real soon. So we wish him luck, and God bless him and his family. Today's guest, we're going to have a roundtable today, and our guest on the roundtable is retired Sergeant Pete Panucchio. Pete Panucchio is retired, also was a detective in homicide, and a retired sergeant from Night Watch.
Correct.
We also have the great and famous sergeant from Central Park, Rory Capra.
Thank you, Kevin.
Rory, I always think you're a lieutenant because the way you get things done. But it's great to be a sergeant.
The money of a lieutenant.
There you go.
People used
in
to
Central
say
Park.
We always thought you were.
I always thought you were a lieutenant. I always did. But we have Rory Capra here today, and of course the famous police officer David Giordano, also from Central Park,
Community Affairs,
via the Bronx. Community Affairs.
Community Affairs extraordinaire. Present for duty. Good to be here again. Good to see Pete, Rory, and Kevin. My three best friends of the past year.
Well, guys, thank you for coming again. I'm glad to have you back. I'd just like to kick off today. I believe there was a court appearance hearing for the murder of Detective Jonathan Diller. As you know, the perpetrator who actually did the shooter, he 21 arrests, 9 felony convictions, and I think he did less than 5 years. Should not have been on the street. But here we go. Dave?
Oh, listen, I agree wholeheartedly. Whatever happened to the 3 felony strikes and you're out, that we had years ago? Just disgusting. I feel so sorry for that wife and the young child. I'm real anxious to see when this goes to trial and he's ultimately convicted. What are we going to do with him? Give him 5 more years?
Yeah, well, at the very least, life in prison. Yeah. However, I like to see the death penalty.
Well, it should be, but we're not going to see a death penalty.
Yeah, of course, not in New York. Right, not in New York. Rory?
No, I feel the same way as Dave said. It's a terrible situation. I feel so sorry for the family. They have to go through all this now and relive this now for the next year or so as it goes to trial with delays and hearings and everything else. So this is going to be in the limelight, and it brings back all the horror of this to them.
Yeah, it's horrible. Detective Sergeant?
This is a guy, prior to the homicide, Detective Diller, his track record was already so bad. He should have been under a jail instead of in a jail.
True.
Yet, here we are. This guy was out.
Yep.
And total waste product. And, the heartbreak and the tragedy for the Diller family is just... There's not too many things that get me upset to the point where I have tears. When I saw the wife and then you see the young baby and you're like, you just can't put words. You can't put that into words, what they're going through.
You can't. And we all, I believe, went to the funeral, which was out in Long Island, Massapequa. And the Nassau County Police Department did a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
they really did a great job.
Yeah.
And Bruce Blakeman, who's the executive for Nassau County, he really was great out there as well. I think he's running for governor now of New York State. Mm-hmm. That should be interesting as well, but we could talk about that another time. But yeah, I mean, Nassau County did a great job, and it was very sad. Great turnout, as always. We always give our own a great send-off. Hopefully we never have to attend another funeral, but unfortunately, that's not the way it goes.
Yeah, Rory and I do a lot of those funerals, and every time we go to one, we say, it's going to be the last one.
Yeah.
This is going to be the last one.
Yeah, that's the way we all feel.
And it never is.
It never is.
Keep coming.
Hopefully it will be, but I don't think so.
Something that resurfaced today was Kathy Hochul being turned away at the wake. And, okay, and then she was annoyed or whatever, but, the family says, no, we don't want you in here. Your policies, your state assembly, you're the reason why that guy was out on the street. And you come here with your pithy words and take a hike, lady. She's weak on crime. That's it.
Absolutely.
She's weak on a lot of issues, so it's just not just crime. She's got a weak personality. I mean, they're the assembly upstate. They're
The
Using her-
Politburo?
Yeah.
Using her like a puppet.
Yeah. And now she's in bed with Mandami because she
Well,
wants
yeah.
his votes. you know.
She's waffling in
Right,
every direction
right,
because
absolutely.
she's facing
Right,
re-election.
Right. Flip-flopping all over the place. So now, Rory and Dave, you're very involved with the Holy Name Society with the NYPD. And now you're at the Cardinal, the new Cardinal coming in, right?
Yes.
But, so why don't we speak about that?
It was actually a very nice ceremony. It was the first time that this has ever happened for NYPD, where they have named two people to a position of chaplain, but not only chaplain, but as a chief chaplain. For the NYPD. Normally, it's always come from within. It's always been up through the ranks of the regular chaplain corps that we have, that one of those would progress up to the chief chaplain. The last one, as we know, was Rabbi Alvin
Katz,
Katz,
right.
who held the rank of 3-star chief, like a bureau chief. But this time around, the commissioner decided that she wanted to go outside the agency and pick people that she felt would be more reflective or better represent the people within NYPD and can ultimately serve both internally and present a public face, I guess, externally of the chaplain and the police department as a whole. So you had two people. You had Cardinal Dolan and AJ?
Bernard.
Bernard, the Reverend Bernard, who's very popular in his own right. He has his own church, and he's had about, I think, active membership, whatever, following about 37,000. Locally within the city. So both of them were inducted, and it was a very, very nice ceremony. You had there, of course, the mayor, who made some speeches and was talking about how he.
How was the speeches? Good.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it was an interesting speech. He was discussing how he was sympathetic to what police officers have to go through every day, and he was praising the work of both of the newly appointed chaplains. And again, you had the commissioner herself that made the speech.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Go ahead, Pete. Hit it.
He didn't go to the installation for the new Cardinal, which for a New York City mayor to not go to that.
Yep.
Well,
That's
again,
reprehensible.
that's true, Pete. You're right. He did not go to the installation within the church, within St. Patrick's. But I was talking just specifically about this. It was held at 1 PP.
Oh, he had to be there.
So he had to kind of be there.
I look at it this way. Who better to have than the former Cardinal of the New York Archdiocese? And he's been a supporter of police. He's always the guy that's the calm in the storm. He really is. And I think it's an excellent choice.
Yes. It's unique in its perspective, And
I don't think we ever had a Cardinal before.
We've never had that. So when you see this now, it's hard. You're hard pressed to disagree with this appointment because he's so well known and he's universally, I think, loved by people that are Catholic as well as non-Catholic.
He's also a very down to earth guy.
He's very down to earth.
If you meet him in a social setting, one-on-one.
Oh, he's amazing like that. He's one of those people that could come up to you and meet you for the first time, and he'll talk to you like he knew you for 100 years.
Right. You feel like you know him for many years. He makes you feel at home.
He does.
Big cigar guy.
Yep.
Likes his Guinness, And,
and he's been seen across the street on more than one occasion.
Well, I'm sure now that'll be his THV, his temporary headquarters, like a lot of many folks.
I'll staff that THV for him.
Yeah, absolutely. But he'll be missed with the church, I'm sure. But at the same token, I think their loss is our gain.
Yes,
I think he'll do very well with the name, with the NYPD.
He's definitely going to remain a public figure within New York City. He's a presence, absolutely.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Tap the banner to learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
So everything that's been in the papers lately, I mean, of course, now with the war in Iran, terror, everything, the level of security has been raised.
Yes.
Okay. And recently here in New York City, the other day, we had some bombs found by Gracie Mansion. I'd like to touch on that and get your thoughts on that as well. Rory?
Well, once again, here we go. With the war going on now currently in Iran, and now it's raising the anti-American sentiment, and now you're going to have a lot of self-styled activists, terrorists they're going to come out of the woodwork. Some organized cells, maybe other ones are just acting independently. These two, more specifically, the two that were just arrested, Ibrahim Qayyumi, 19 years old, and Amir Balat, 18.
From PA, right?
From Pennsylvania. Yeah,
right.
both from Pennsylvania, both from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, which is an affluent area. And I don't know if you saw, they actually had pictures of their houses. I'd like to have one of those houses.
Oh,
they were pretty good.
Well, they did the search warrants on the house.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They did search warrants on the house. But so obviously they came from, upper middle class backgrounds at the very least. So it leads you to wonder how did they get radicalized? Were they self-radicalized? Were they on media, social sites? Who are their connections? Are they funded? Where does their affiliations lie?
What's their connection?
That is unknown at this time. They're not. Well, their attorney, I think it was Balat's attorney, is trying to say that there is no connection with them. They just met up in the street, but coincidentally, at the site of the protest down by Gracie Mansion, where they did the bombing, and they both happened to have the exact same explosives.
Right.
And the thrower, which was actually Qayyumi, then went briefly back to Balat to get the secondary one that was just kind of down or placed down. And then a third same explosive was in the car. I believe that was belonged to Balat, which is interesting in itself because he had a Pennsylvania driver's license, which is consistent from where he lives, but the car is registered in New Jersey. That found the third device and it was parked a little ways down the road. So, of course, right away, my question is, what's this car? Who owns the car? Is it a rental car? Is it a family member? Is it somebody else? What's the connection with the car with New Jersey plates? And they had them actually coming across the George Washington Bridge. They had them on camera since, I think, March 7th, coming from New Jersey into New York.
Wow, interesting. Now, Dave?
Well, when I heard about it and saw it on TV, the arrest of these two individuals, right away I thought of the Sinaya brothers up in Boston, which impacted me greatly. I'm a very frequent visitor to Boston. I spent a lot of time in Boston. And in 2013, the marathon bombing, which is actually next week is its 13th
anniversary.
13th
Well, they mentioned
anniversary.
that, though. They mentioned that, these two perpetrators.
They wanted to,
Right, make it bigger than,
So a friend of mine from China was in Boston at the time working on her PhD. She was there with her husband and her daughter. And they called me when this was, and they didn't know what to do because this doesn't really happen too often in China. You don't get rattled like they were. So I just said, listen, stay in your house. I'll monitor the TV. I'll monitor the news. I'll let you know what's going on. Just stay in your house until I tell you, that everything is there's no threat left. So, ironically enough, though, how do you say their name? The brothers.
The Sarnaev.
Sarnaev.
With the T.
Yeah.
But
It's interesting. They were from New Bedford, Massachusetts. So they traveled from New Bedford to Boston to do this bombing. Who was on trial in New Bedford for a murder? Lizzie Borden. That's where she was on trial and was found not guilty. But it's just ironic how that all came together. Yeah.
Yeah. Pete?
I have a few thoughts.
Yeah, let's hit them, man.
I was watching this the other day, and I see the event as it starts, and a couple of observations. Now, you have two groups here. You have Jake Lang, who's a provocateur. He cranks people up. He's been running around the city a lot the last few days. The night before, he was in Washington. All right, I shouldn't even have to say this. They were having a memorial for Ayatollah Khomeini
Amazing.
in Washington Square Park.
Only in New York, right?
Then a fight broke out.
And he showed up with a goat and really cranked them up. There was some scuffles. You have the incident up at Gracie Mansion. Now, Lang shows up with his group. And no matter how nasty or annoying he is, he has his right to protest, as do the counter-protesters who showed up. The counter-protesters are people I'm familiar with, and not a good crew. They're just my own black bloc, only because they're always dressed in black. Depending on which group is protesting at any given time, these guys are the foot soldiers. These are the guys that will scuffle with the cops, they'll throw stuff. One of the most amazing videos was there was a guy there who's with the megaphone screaming, "Oh, New York has opened the wall. Everybody should come here. All the immigrants should come." As the bomb tosser comes over his shoulder screaming Allah Akbar and tosses the bomb. That particular guy is one of the top Antifa guys in New York City. So in respect to these two guys, I don't think they were associated per se with the counter-protesters. However, they didn't care who they were going to kill. They didn't care if they got cops, Antifa, Lang's crew. They didn't care. I think we got very lucky. We got very lucky for a number of reasons. Number one, first and foremost, that the bombs didn't go off. Number two, that there wasn't a shooting. The cop standing there, as he's lighting the bomb, cop would have been well justified to light them both up. However, there's a lot of people standing on the street. Good chance an innocent bystander would have been hit. These two guys, though, and watching the video, personally, I think they were on a martyrdom mission. They made no attempt to cover themselves up, to hide the fact who they were. I know this morning, the FBI executed a search warrant storage unit in Pennsylvania, and they recovered 3 more devices. So this is going to be a real deep dive into these guys. Apparently, they tracked them traveling to Turkey.
Right.
I think 2 years ago.
Right.
Where they hooked up. They believe they hooked up with guys from ISIS who taught them how to make the bombs. The bombs, the explosive was TATP, which you can make, but it's a fairly sophisticated explosive. If they just, and I'm not a bomb tech, I've come across a lot of bombs over my career, believe it or not, but I think if they had put these glass canisters down instead of throwing them, they probably would have exploded. When you throw a glass canister and it breaks, what do you have now? You have no container, so you have a big smoke bomb. But I don't think these guys even plan to come back from this. I just don't, because
Suicide mission.
no attempt, absolutely no attempt.
You know what? But I wonder, though, if that's really the case, or are they just stupid? Are they, 18,
They're incredibly
19-year-olds,
stupid.
and they want to, maybe they thought this was their way to fame, and maybe they wanted to be recognized. They wanted to be seen.
These guys made a full conversion into ISIS
Yeah,
mode.
absolutely.
There's no coming back for them.
Yeah.
That's it.
But if they didn't, otherwise, like you say, if they wanted to martyr themselves, I would have thought they would have tried maybe with a suicide vest to blow themselves up, as opposed to something that they could place and or throw.
Well, a suicide vest is much more sophisticated to make.
complex.
These guys didn't have the wherewithal to do that. There's these simple devices like Pete's talking about. Anyone could research that.
But even with these like that, the TATP is, which is the acronym, I guess, for it, but it's an acetone peroxide bomb. But it's interesting because it's a highly volatile mixture, and my thought it was that they probably didn't even follow the right instructions on this, because typically it's very sensitive to it can be sensitive to friction, to heat, to impact, and with the throwing of that, and it still didn't go off. So grace of God that didn't go off.
Absolutely.
Everybody's lucky.
Maybe a good thing that they didn't somebody didn't tase this guy, because also electrical friction. Somebody would have lit him up with a taser, and it could have gone off.
Yeah, but the generation we come from, we're not reaching for tasers.
That's correct. Well, not our generation. That's right.
That would have been.
That's right.
That would have been a fusillade.
Yes.
Coca-Cola would have.
Yeah, but-
9mm would have.
But Pete's right. The cops at that demonstration acted really. They did a great job. You know, diffusing the situation.
I give that chief, Chief Edwards, a lot of credit.
Yep.
I don't think, even in my younger days, I could jump a barrier like he did. He went right over the top.
He's a former Midtown North cop.
North guy, right?
Edwards. Yep.
Yeah.
Edwards.
I think so. Yeah, Edwards. Yeah. I think he's the new CEO for Manhattan North.
He's the CEO of Manhattan.
He had Midtown South as a captain.
Yes.
He had the 17th, and he's also was a Midtown North cop back in the day.
Oh,
yeah. Good guy, good man.
a lot of good things come out of Midtown North.
Oh, a lot of good things come out of Midtown North. Yes. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Here we go.
100% concur with that statement.
Central Park's right there, though. I mean, Central Park is right there.
And the South Park.
I was there also.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Full circle.
Yeah.
Round table. But now, speaking about terror now, I mean, our Joint Terrorist Task Force is very busy, you know. And unfortunately, I don't think they have the manpower that they had, you know. That's with the FBI, right? It's got the combination of FBI, New York City, New York State Police, I believe. JTTF. And but they're busy now. And, you know, again, their numbers are down. So now we have the St. Patrick's Day parade coming up next Tuesday, the 17th.
Big concern. That's
Very big concern. I mean, it always
parade.
is, but
Huge
now
parade.
it is.
Gets upwards of 2 million spectators.
Well, any parade
Big.
going forward is going to be of great
Anything.
concern.
Or any demonstration for that matter.
Yeah.
You know, so and it's and now with our numbers, of course, we still have over 30,000. Correct? I believe 30,000
For now.
For now. Which is a great number, but it's not. We're used to 38,000. So, you know, and then the experience is leaving. So, but what's your thoughts? I want to get your thoughts on, you know, what. You know, the public, of course, should be well aware of their surroundings and what's going on. You know, everyone who rides the subway every morning to work, you know, coming home, always be aware. You know, everyone's got their headphones in and they're on their phone, you know, watching whatever they're watching, Instagram, whatever. But you really have to pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah, we got to reemphasize the old "see something, say something." We absolutely do, especially now.
Absolutely.
That was driven into the public for a decade, and you don't really hear it anymore.
Not as much, but I think it's going to resurface now.
Yeah,
I
I
think
hope
you're going to
so.
see it again.
No,
You're going to
there's
see the signs on subways and all that same thing again.
Just before we came in, there's a suspicious package up in the park, Carl Schurz Park, right near Gracie Mansion. So you've seen an uptick in the last couple of days. When people are seeing things, they're calling it in.
Yeah.
As they should.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you're going to have some, you know, pranksters as well, you know, leaving a bag of six-pack somewhere and saying there's a bag there. But at the end of the day, everything has to be entertained, you know, and checked out. And, you know, our bomb squad's going to be busy as well, besides JTTF and everyone on patrol. Even the guys on patrol, they have to be, you know, just be more alert. Don't just keep, you know, walk into you know, you get these bomb scares all the time, especially working in Midtown, right? You get these bomb scares all the time. You know, you can't really take anything for granted. You got to really, really be careful.
Also, when just before we walked in, Pete and I and Rory saw they just had a shooting, shots fired at the U.S. consulate in Toronto. I didn't get the details of it, but you know, it seems like things are starting to heat up.
Well, which is interesting because according to news sources, they've had some intercepts, you know, communication traffic that it's been encrypted and coded.
That's a weird thing.
But that's a weird thing.
That popped up yesterday, and that was picked up by shortwave radio operators who monitor these sites emanating from Iran.
Right.
The only thing that these sites do is shoot out a slew of numbers. It's a one-time encryption. So whoever's receiving it has a pad, use it one time, rip it up, that's it. So they're hard to break, if near impossible.
Right.
But it was shortwave people just monitoring this stuff, you know, like, you know, whatever you... And they picked up on it. And there's a lot of back and forth now where the actual transmission was from, whether it was from in Iran or close to Iran. But this is a site that's been monitored for years by ham radio operators. I went down the wormhole with this the other night just because I was going to bed. And I said, man, that's strange. But
they think it's Iran, this one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because there's also been a signal that supposedly from Russia, it's been going on for generations. It's been going on.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's still the same thing. Series of numbers that just keeps being broadcast.
Listen, it was a big issue. The 19th precinct across the street was the Russian consulate.
Russian mission, yeah.
A lot of antennas up on the roof.
Yep.
And over the years, there were a lot of cops in the 19th that got sick with various forms of cancer. Nobody's ever conclusively proven it, but those transmission towers on top of the Russian consulate are blasting out these high-energy microwave bursts, which they're transmitting messages back and forth to Moscow to East 67th Street. So, I mean, it's going on.
Sure.
You don't know. Are they screwing with your mind? You know, all right, let's start shooting out some numbers today, make the Americans crazy.
Sure.
But we don't know who came into this country.
Well,
exactly.
The thinking now is that message in conjunction with the war, is that an operational trigger to say, okay, cells, activate.
Rise up.
Yeah.
Rise up to the occasion. We don't know who the hell's here past 4 years, right?
Sure.
And they're here. They're here, you know. And then you wonder, you know, do they want the big target like the GW Bridge, which has been talked about, for years, or would it be a soft target, like,
shopping mall,
just a shopping mall, or a deli on 50th Street?
The easy ones, yeah.
I worry about two knuckleheads to get together and put a plan together.
Right.
The bigger the operation, the greater the chance of detection. Someone law enforcement or an informant, and it gets complicated very quickly. And we've been paying attention since 9/11. But you get one guy like that or two people like that, that's a problem. That's a major problem.
Well, that becomes, that's part of like the coordinated attacks, where they do simultaneous attacks. That's been, again, with the use of these low-tech explosives like the TATP, that's been around since the 80s. The first time that was kind of notable and used was around 1980 in Israel with a suicide attack. And we've had multiple ones since then that have involved the TATP. One of the more notable ones that everybody might remember, you remember the name Richard Reed?
Sure.
The infamous shoe bomber from American Airlines Flight 63.
Right. Yep.
And he was trying to set it off. They caught this guy with trying to do the shoes, and I guess everybody in the plane, they jumped him and held him. But that was one of the more notable ones. And we've had a couple over the years.
The underwear bomber.
The underwear bomber, that's right.
Yeah.
You had one in 2015. You had one in Paris at that, I think it was at a stadium. Mm-hmm. Right, they had one there. There was one in Brussels.
With Ariana Grande.
That was one of the more recent ones. That was like, I think, in May of 2017. That was after the Ariana Grande concert at the Manchester. Right? Is it Manchester? England.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now we have FIFA coming, right?
Sure.
LA,
Major issue.
New York. I'm sorry.
Major issue.
Oh yeah, huge. And I know there's some great meetings going on right now, to prevent any terror attacks. But I mean, that's a target right there. FIFA, and not only the stadium itself, but then everyone's staying in New York, New Jersey, the hotels, the restaurants. Busy time.
Well, there's a FIFA event in Times Square that they're doing just prior. The match is going to be in Jersey,
right,
Pete, in
MetLife Stadium.
MetLife Stadium.
Yeah.
They're doing something like a FIFA event kickoff here in Times Square.
Yeah.
It's windows everywhere, skyscrapers everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I always worry about,
and many events, too, in the venues here in New York.
The thing I always worry about is, and in some ways I'm almost amazed, and thank God we haven't seen it, but something like a Mumbai-style attack, where you go to the hotels and just go, from floor to floor.
Thank God we haven't seen it.
Yeah,
But you're right. I always think about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, getting back, same thing. The malls, movie theater, even the movie theater.
Right.
Sure. And
because you're literally a captive audience.
Yeah.
You're sitting in the dark,
well,
closed in.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Broadway shows, the Schroeder organization, I know they you can't come in. They warn you, and you have to walk to a metal detector.
Sure.
But if someone's coming up there with a machine gun, they're going to start shooting walk himself in, with the gun blazing. I mean, anyone could get anywhere
And that's always something we have to be concerned about now with the warmer weather, and people want to do the outside cafes, which is typical of the attacks that they had in Paris. You know, people sitting outside, and you just can come up and either throw a explosive device like the TATP or, a shooting.
So law enforcement can't be everywhere. There's not enough of us, right? So that's why the public has to really, really, be aware and keep their eyes open, their ears, see something, say something.
Absolutely.
Ask a question, solve a crime, right? Remember that?
Yes.
Ask a question, solve a crime. That was, what was that? Was that Jack Maples or was that, what's his name? Who was the commissioner with Maples?
Bratton.
Bratton. Was it Bratton that said that? Used to say
we had a sign in the 770 squad that says, if you know someone who killed someone, let us know so you can go.
So you can go. I like that. That's very good.
I like that.
It was effective.
Collars for dollars. Interesting.
But it's interesting when you're just going back to these, these two, this Kayumi and Balat. Both of them are now American citizens. They were born here.
Right.
Yet their parents were naturalized. They came from elsewhere. One from Turkey, I believe, right?
Yeah,
And
Afghanistan.
From Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So, in some ways, it starts to make you wonder, what are we doing in terms of, and it's not necessarily, I'm not saying it's a parental fault, but what are we doing in terms of really determining who comes into this country under what circumstances, to make sure that they really are coming here to live the American experience. And hopefully bring their children up.
Yeah,
in the
but
American
I'm sure the parents came here with well intention.
Yeah, I would hope so too.
But you
you
can't keep an eye on your screwball son all the time.
Right.
Although one family is living in a $2 million home, and apparently,
so
they own businesses.
Yes,
they've worked very hard.
Yeah,
they've assimilated into the American culture. Mm-hmm. And then you have this knucklehead kid of yours. Were they paying attention? I don't know.
Well, I believe it was Balat. I think the mother was paying attention because my understanding is that he was allegedly missing for 2 hours and she called the police. So that tells me right away.
There was a problem.
Yeah, there's a problem. And she knew there was a problem. You're
one
missing
kid's
for 2
family
hours?
is cooperating fully with the police.
I remember when I was 18, 19, right? We could be missing for a day and nobody asked where you were.
Right. Exactly. True.
Oh, yeah.
Playing
Those
on
were the
streets.
days.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing on the street till all hours of the night, right?
No, until the street lights came on.
Right. Well, even then some.
Even then some, yeah.
Exactly. And we weren't sitting home on the couch with the phone, Amazing.
Wanted nothing to do with that phone.
Hi, I'm Jim. I'm not an actor, just a guy living with prostate cancer. My wife and I face each day head on. We asked my doctor about Xtandi enzalutamide.
Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache.
Visit Xtandi.com to watch my story.
Gentlemen, last words on this terror situation or anything else?
Well, listen, last time we were together, Nancy Guthrie was missing and still missing. It's a damn shame, but she's probably not with us anymore.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, I'd like to get your thoughts on that whole case.
I just hope her body turns up somewhere so the family can get closure.
Pete?
I've had a couple of different twists and turns on this.
Tell us.
As to what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. It could be a family. It could be, I know my own thoughts. What I would be drilling down on, every residential burglar caught in the last 10 years in that area. Start looking there. I mean, this could have been a home invasion, but now we're hearing that there's other videos that this guy's been to the home multiple times. All right, then she's a target. That's not just a random home invasion. I don't know what to make of it anymore. I don't think she's with us anymore either, which is terrible for the Guthrie family.
Well, Pete, she may have been a target not based on her celebrity, but based on an elderly woman living an affluent lifestyle.
Right. Knowing there's money there.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of elderly, affluent people in that area.
Yeah, I mean,
I think somebody might have put it together.
But do they all live alone? They may have put two and two together that she was.
That's an excellent point.
Living alone. It's an easy target as opposed to the elderly family that's still married and has the kids over every weekend.
Right. I'm not buying the kidnapping story anymore.
No, nor am I.
With the Bitcoin, just not.
No, because nothing much was made of that, but nothing came of it, and there apparently there's been no other communications now.
Who does a kidnapping and notifies TMZ?
Yeah, exactly, and that's what we said the first time around.
Yeah. And I think they're amateurs, and maybe unfortunately,
Harvey
with her
Levin is
condition.
not the guy I want to talk to.
No.
I still think you have to do the build out. You've got to look at everybody that she was associated with at this point. Anybody and everybody, from Amazon packages to does she get home deliveries of food? Does she get some kind of other routine people that come to the house? Anybody that groundskeepers, maintenance people, roofers, right? Somebody that did some interior work, anything and everything.
They seen an opportunity. Took a chance, and it went bad.
It went bad, and I think they killed her that night.
And they're out of this country somewhere.
Yeah,
and she's her body. Unfortunately, hopefully, she's alive, but her body may turn up somewhere.
And you remember that much was made out of the gloves that were very similar to what was seen in the video, and they found the gloves, and then they did DNA, and now apparently they got a hit on the DNA, and it supposedly comes back to a restaurant worker in the local area, but Sheriff Nanos has publicly stated that person is not a person of interest, and that's a dead end. I'm not so sure. I mean, first of all, even if it is a local worker, why are the gloves 2 miles out from her house? Why?
I think Sheriff Nanos should stop making public statements.
Yeah.
Did he
I think we can all agree on that one.
Press conference from the basketball game?
Yeah.
Gentlemen,
I would still look at the family.
It's been great. Dave Giordano, thank you again for being here.
It's always great being here, Kevin.
Rory Capra, thank you.
Absolutely.
And
thank you, sir.
Pete,
Sergeant
Panucci, thank you so much for being here. 2 sergeants and police officer and a detective, and
detective
it was
first
a great
grade
conversation. Yeah, there you go.
A lot of experience between the 4 of us.
Yeah, just think, right?
A lot of years of stepping over bodies.
A lot of good times and a lot of experience, as you said. And I'm sure someone's going to write a book someday, and we'll have it on the show,
I thought about it, and I was going to call it Nothing to Report.
Yeah. I like Page from a Cop's Notebook. So
if Ed was here, we'd have like 300 years of experience between us.
Yeah, well, exactly.
He had 150 years himself.
Yeah. Well, he's live streaming us right now. So on that note, Ed, we wish you luck and health and happiness, and hopefully you're back with us real soon. On that note, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I'd like to thank our listeners. And until next time, God bless you. God bless America. God bless law enforcement throughout the country. And God bless our U.S. military. Thank you.
Amen.